On December 4, 2024 at 6:45 am in Manhattan, New York. A man was shot dead in front of the Hilton Hotel. The masked and hooded killer came up from behind and fired 3 times from a pistol with a silencer. The bullets hit the victim's back and leg, and all this was caught on security cameras. Shell casings with the words "Depose, Deny, Delay" were found at the crime scene later. The shooter was able to escape from the murder scene. Paramedics tried to save the victim, but at 7:12 am the victim was pronounced dead at Mount Sinai West Hospital. It seems everything is obvious. There is a killer and there is a victim. However, everything became less clear when the name of the murdered man became known. Hello everyone, my name is, and today we will restore the chronology of that day, find out the identities of all those involved, and try to understand what split the American society. The victim was Brian Thompson, born in 1974 in Ames, Iowa. He was the CEO of UnitedHealthcare since 2021, and his annual bonuses reached $100 million. It's one of the largest health insurance companies in the United States, and a subsidiary company of UnitedHealth Group, which is one of the 10 largest companies in the world. Google, Apple, Walmart and other great corporations that I know are in this list. But I only found out about UnitedHealth Group when I started collecting information for this video. I am not an American and I live in a country with free healthcare. I didn't even realize there's so much money, problems and fraud in this industry. For me, problems with health insurance have always been jokes from the comedy movies and the plot of the Saw franchise. And the scale of these problems, which I learned when I researched the topic, shocked me, but I got distracted by my thoughts. We will talk about the company later, but for now it's better to focus on the murdered Brian Thompson. Not to say there is a lot of information about him. In 1997 he received a bachelor's degree in Iowa University. He was married and had 2 sons. However, in 2018 he and his wife separated. Although, as far as I understand, there was no divorce. And in 2004 he started working in UnitedHealth Group. After his death, his relatives spoke of him as a good person who loved to spending time with his family. However, Brian's widow claimed he had previously received threats against himself. But there was nothing unusual about it, considering his work. There is also information after the murder several Thompson's houses were attacked and vandalized. There was no evidence at the crime scene except for 3 shell casings. The gun was unmarked, so it was impossible to track it. Some parts of the weapon were made using a 3D printer. It all sounds like a plot of a cyberpunk thriller. It was also known after the murder. The killer got on an electrical bike and disappeared in Central Park. After that he got a taxi, when he was caught on a camera. Finally, he left the city by bus. The killer was caught on a large number of cameras. However, he constantly hid his face under a mask. The police managed to trace his path to the hostel where he rented a room. And there, talking to an employee at the reception, he took off his mask and his face was caught on a camera. There he also presented a fake driver's license in the name of Mark Rosario. It was impossible to track him using credit cards, because he paid in cash everywhere. All the police had to photos from a bad angle. It was the photo from the hostel that the police distributed by the media. They also set a reward of $10,000 for any information about the criminal. Later the FBI added another $50,000. So the reward has risen to a whopping $60,000. Interesting, when ordinary people killed and not the directors of huge corporations. Is the reward from the government for information just as gorgeous? The question is rhetorical. The alleged killer was arrested on December 9 in Altoona, Pennsylvania. A McDonald's employee noticed a suspicious man with a laptop, who looked like the criminal in the photo. It turned out to be Luigi Mangione, who was born in 1998. They found with him a gun, fake documents, $8,000 in cash, and a notebook. The notebook allegedly contained a manifesto, in which insurance company employees were called parasites and deserve what they got. There, Luigi allegedly expresses respect to the FBI staff and confesses to the murder to make their work easier. And this is strange. If he planned to confess everything, then why did he hide his face, make a gun without insignia and flee the crime scene? Luigi Mangione was born into a wealthy family that has great influence in the state of Maryland. They own a lot of expensive real estate, including the Lauren Health Services nursing home chain, where Luigi volunteered during his school years, several country clubs and the WCBM radio station. The Mangione family is actively involved in charity, donating large sums to the field of education. There are also politicians in the family, Luigi's cousin Nina Mangione. He is a Republican member of the Maryland legislature. Luigi Mangione studied at the prestigious Gilman School, which costs over $37,000 for a year, and graduated in 2016. In 2020 he received his bachelor's and master's degrees in computer and information science from the University of Pennsylvania. And he even managed to work with the developers of the Civilization game series. By the way, some particularly gifted individuals saw a connection with computer games. And according to the old good tradition, rushed to blame them for everything that happened.
Oh shit, here we go again.
In 2022, Mangione lived in Hawaii and worked as a data processing engineer at TrueCar, a company specializing in online car sales, until 2023. He actively conducted social media and played sports, until one day while in Hawaii he suffered a back injury while surfing. Luigi had chronic lower back pain before that, which became unbearable after the injury. His friends said Luigi could not lead a normal life because of constant pain and became very withdrawn. However, it took him a long time to convince the insurance company he needed a surgery. And here I would like to remind you that this guy is from a rich family. You can already imagine how it's like for people who are not in such an enviable financial position. After some time he underwent a serious surgery, and then stopped contacting his relatives altogether. There are rumors they tried to find him and even filed a missing persons report. Luigi himself became interested in strange ideas at that time. For example, there is his laudatory review of the book by Theodore Kaczynski, known as Unabomber. Theodore opposed technological progress and mailed bombs to various institutions, including universities. There is information Luigi also initially wanted to use explosives, but decided not to do so because innocent people could suffer this way. After the arrest of Luigi Mangione, the internet simply exploded. On social media, a huge number of people expressed support to him and called him a national hero. The tech-free Luigi has appeared. In their opinion, he was able to challenge the injustice of corporations that profit from the suffering and death of people. And it's hard to argue with them. People spend a lot of money on health insurance. At the same time, it's in the interests of the company to reject payments for any reason. The average insurance failure rate is 16%. But at UnitedHealthcare it reaches a fabulous 32%. It turns out they are the worst of the worst. So people's joy in killing someone like Brian Thompson is not surprising. After the murder, UnitedHealth Group shares plummeted, and it lost about $110 billion. When the company posted about Thompson's murder on its Facebook, It quickly gathered a large number of laughing emojis. At the time of writing, there are 131,000 of them. He was probably a good man, and even after his death, he continues to give people smiles. The McDonald's restaurant whose employee informed police about Luigi Mangione was subjected to a review bombing. However, Google removed all negative ratings very quickly. Major media outlets refused to publish Mangione's manifesto. There was also pressure on various sites, including Reddit, to delete information about it. Since the murder, there has been a sharp increase in requests for protection and security services for CEOs. And some companies even have removed all information about their executives from their websites for security reasons. People on the internet started collecting money to pay for the services of a lawyer for Luigi Mangione on the GoFundMe service, but it was blocked. Yes, he already has a lawyer who was provided by his family, but people don't believe in her competence and impartiality. So it was reopened on Give and Go. So more than 225,000 were collected. The comments of users who send money deserve special attention. By the way, the judge in his case is Catherine H. Parker, the wife of the former CEO of Pfizer, and the owner of a large number of shares in the healthcare sector. Is there any chance on a fair trial? The question is rhetorical again. Mangione's social media has gained a lot of followers. He had 64 followers on Twitter and now it's more than 400,000. His Instagram was also gaining popularity until the administration froze it. Graffiti began to appear in cities calling for Luigi's free. And you can even buy merch online now. Now perhaps we need to listen to the opposite point of view. I must say right away, all officials have very negative attitude towards Mangione's act.
In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero.
Not surprisingly. UnitedHealth Group regularly transfers large amounts of money to political parties, both Republicans and Democrats. Probably for this money they are ready to close their eyes to fraud and causing suffering of people. The police call all those who support Mangione extremists. And it's believed Luigi is supported by a younger part of society. Andrew Whitty, CEO of UnitedHealth Group, recorded an internal video after the murder, where he defended the company's policy.
Our role is a critical role, and we make sure that care is safe, appropriate, and is delivered when people need it. And we guard against the pressures that exist for unsafe care or for unnecessary care to be delivered in a way which makes the whole system too complex and ultimately unsustainable.
He also argued employees to refrain from any criticism of the company.
What we must do is focus on what we know to be true.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Senator Amy Klobuchar expressed concern about the public's reaction and expressed their condolences to Thompson's family. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro said,
In America, we do not kill people in cold blood to resolve policy differences or express a viewpoint.
Donald Trump called Luigi Mangione sympathizers sick. So, maybe if those who support Luigi are sick, they need treatment? All you have to do is pay off their insurance, and they will magically recover. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said,
This is horrific. Violence to combat any sort of corporate greed is unacceptable.
And what is acceptable and effective at the same time? If you know any ways to influence people like Brian Thompson and the system as a whole, you can write in the comments. You can also write how you feel about this situation, as well as you have problems with insurance companies. Regardless of your country, it will be very interesting for me to read. One of the heads of the insurance company stated, What's most disturbing is the ability of people to hide behind their keyboards and lose their humanity. Yes, those who deny medical care, forcing people to endure pain and delay insurance payments until there is no one to pay. Call these same people inhumane. Although the anonymous doctor said Luigi should be punished. But he also acknowledged Thompson's actions had brought a lot of suffering and death. From all this we can conclude: politicians do not care about the suffering and death of millions of people. They feel sorry for one rich man who is to blame for all this. Can you imagine anyone regretting the assassination of Hitler? I am not either, but here we are. UnitedHealthcare almost always denies insurance to the elderly. At the same time, they offer money to healthy clients. So they will agree to diagnoses they do not have. For example, they have 15% more customers with cataracts than the industry average. The fact is UnitedHealthcare receives additional funding from government for each such client. These are just some of the fraud cases you can find online. If I take them all apart, this video will be 2 hours long, and I'll never finish it. Luigi Mangione is currently in custody. He is treated as an already convicted murderer. He has no bail option, although the trial hasn't yet been completed, and his guilt hasn't actually been proven. He is accused under many articles. Charges from Pennsylvania: providing false information, forgery of documents, carrying firearms without a license, possession of weapons of crime. Charges from New York: second-degree murder, use of firearms, and forgery of documents. While I was recording this video, new accusations appeared. Now there are more than 20 of them, including charges of terrorism. He faces 15 years to imprisonment for life. And I'm sure the sentence will be as harsh as possible, cause he raised his hand against a rich and influential person. So they will try to make him a good example of not going against the authorities and the system. You may not support what Mangione did, but people like Brian Thompson certainly not deserve your pity. For a couple $100, they'll throw you to a painful death. Thanks for watching, but now my time is over.
And we are going to make sure that we not only acknowledge and honour that legacy of Brian, but we'll continue it.
Funkel, funkel, kleiner Stern, Kirby hat dich ja so gern. Tanz mit mir durch Kirbyland, nimm dich fröhlich an die Hand.